You guys, I've been sitting on this story for a while now, but I finally feel ready to share it. Hope you brought snacks because this one's a ride. So last Christmas, I was dating this guy, Derek. We'd been together for about 8 months, and I was really into him. Like, head over heels, butterflies in my stomach, thinking about our future together, kind of into him. We worked at the same marketing firm downtown, though in different departments. He was in accounts, and I was in creative. Everyone at work knew us as that cute couple who always grabbed lunch together at that little Vietnamese place across the street. For Christmas, I decided to go all out. Not financially, mind you. I'm still paying off my student loans from NYU. But I spent weeks working on this scrapbook of our relationship. I'm talking about printed photos from our first date at the Brooklyn Bridge Park, ticket stubs from that Yankees game where he caught a foul ball, receipts from our favorite brunch spot in the village. I even hand-lettered quotes on each page with those fancy Tombow brush pens I ordered from Michael's. My best friend Sarah helped me with the design. We spent hours at her apartment in Astoria, drinking cheap Trader Joe's wine and perfecting each page. I included little notes about why each memory was special to me. Like how on our third date, when we got caught in that sudden downpour near Central Park, he gave me his jacket even though he was just wearing a t-shirt underneath. Or how he stayed up all night helping me finish a presentation for a big client. Pitch, even though he had his own deadlines. Christmas morning came and I was so excited. I could barely sleep the night before. We had planned to exchange gifts at his place in Murray Hill before heading to his parents' house in Connecticut for dinner. I showed up at his apartment wearing that red sweater dress from Nordstrom Rack that he said made me look like a Christmas angel. I had the scrapbook wrapped in this beautiful metallic paper I found at Paper Source. When he opened my gift, I watched his face carefully. At first he smiled, but as he flipped through the pages, his expression changed. He got quiet. Too quiet. Finally, he closed the book and set it aside. "This is really thoughtful," he said, but his tone was off. Like when someone says you're new. "Haircut looks interesting." "You don't like it?" I asked, feeling my heart sink. He sighed and ran his hand through his hair. "Emma, we need to talk." Those 4 words. The relationship death sentence. My stomach dropped like I was on the Tower of Terror at Disney World. "I think we're moving at different speeds," he said. "This gift, it's a lot. It feels like you're way more invested in this relationship than I am." I sat there, stunned. "Derek, we've been together for 8 months. We talk about the future all the time. You introduced me to your parents at Thanksgiving." I know, he said, not meeting my eyes. "But seeing all this, it made me realize I'm not where you are emotionally. I think we should take a break." "Break? On Christmas?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I'm sorry. I need space to figure things out." I stood up, my hands shaking. "You're breaking up with me because I made you a thoughtful gift? Because I actually care about our relationship?" He tried to explain, something about feeling pressured and not being ready for this level of commitment, but I wasn't listening anymore. I grabbed my purse and the scrapbook. "You know what? Keep your space. Keep all the space you want." I walked to the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Derek, that Patagonia jacket you're wearing? The one I got you for your birthday? I'd like it back." He looked shocked. "Emma, come on." "No, I'm serious. Take it off." He reluctantly handed me the jacket. I walked out, slamming the door behind me. In the elevator, I blocked his number, unfollowed him on Instagram, and unfriended him on Facebook. By the time I reached the lobby, I had erased him from my digital life. I spent Christmas crying on Sarah's couch, eating Chinese takeout from that place on 8th Avenue, and watching Love Actually on repeat. She kept refilling my glass with Prosecco and telling me what a moron he was. Her boyfriend Mike even came over with a pint of Ben & Jerry's fish food, which was sweet of him. The next few weeks at work were awkward. We avoided each other in the hallways, took different elevators, and I started getting my morning coffee from the Starbucks on 42nd instead of our usual spot. Our coworkers whispered behind our backs, but I held my head high. I threw myself into this work, landing 3 new clients in January alone. Updated. Fast forward to late February. I had mostly moved on. Started going to SoulCycle classes with my coworker Jessica. Joined a book club in the East Village. Even went on a couple of dates with a guy I met at Whole Foods. Nothing serious, but it felt good to get back out there. 1. Tuesday evening, I was at home in my studio apartment, meal prepping for the week while listening to Taylor Swift, Reputation era, because I was still a little bitter. My doorbell rang, which was weird because the doorman usually calls up first. I opened the door, and there was Derek. He looked terrible. His usually perfect hair was a mess, he had stubble, and his eyes were red. He was wearing that old Columbia University hoodie I always said made him look like a college freshman. "Emma, please. I need to talk to you." I crossed my arms. "How did you get past George?" George was our doorman, a sweet older guy from Puerto Rico who knew all the building gossip. I told him I was delivering something important. Emma, please. 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let him in. He stood awkwardly in my tiny living room, looking at the vision board I had made at a Galentine's Day party. Notably absent were any pictures of us. I messed up, he started. I've been miserable without you. That scrapbook. I've looked at it every day since Christmas. You put so much thought and love into it, and I freaked out because I'm an idiot who's scared of commitment. I sat down on my West Elm couch, the one we picked out together at the outlet store in Brooklyn. Derek, you dumped me on Christmas. On actual Christmas morning. Do you know how that felt? I know. I'm so sorry. I've been in therapy, trying to work through my issues. My therapist says I have avoidant attachment style, and when I saw how much you cared about us, it triggered all my fears. That's great that you're working on yourself, I said, genuinely meaning it. But that doesn't undo what happened. He moved closer, sitting on the ottoman. I want another chance. I love you, Emma. I was just too scared to admit it before. Before I could respond, he continued. Also, I kind of need your help with something work-related. You know that Peterson account I've been working on? They specifically requested you for their new campaign creative. My boss says if I can't get you on board, I might lose the account. And there it was, the real reason for his visit. I actually laughed, a short, bitter sound. So you're here because you love me, or because you need me to save your job? His face reddened. It's not like that. I mean, yes, I need your help, but I also genuinely want us to work things out. I stood up. Derek, you made your choice on Christmas. You decided a thoughtful gift was too much. You decided 8 months of relationship wasn't worth fighting for, and now you want me back because your job is on the line? Emma, please. I know I hurt you, but we were good together. Remember? All those times we talked about moving in together? About getting a dog? That could still be us. I walked to the door and opened it. Those dreams died on Christmas morning when you handed me back my heart wrapped in rejection. I'm not your safety. Net, Derek, I'm not your career savior. I'm the girl who loved you enough to make you a scrapbook, and you thought that was too much. What am I supposed to tell Peterson? He asked desperately. Tell them the truth. Tell them you burned a bridge with the creative director they want. Tell them you chose your fear over everything we had. Or make something up. I honestly don't care. He stood there for a moment, looking defeated. I really did love you, you know? No, Derek. You loved the idea of me being there when you needed me. There's a difference. He left, and I closed the door behind him. I leaned against it for a moment, feeling a mix of emotions. Sad for what we had lost, angry at his audacity, but mostly proud. Proud that I didn't cave. Proud that I knew my worth. Updated. After Derek left that night, I called Sarah immediately. She came over with a bottle of that Josh Cabernet we love and a pizza from Joe's. We sat on my fire escape despite the February chill, and I told her everything. Girl, you handled that like a boss, she said, clinking her glass against mine. I'm so proud of you. I almost caved when he mentioned the therapy, I admitted. For a second, I thought maybe he had really changed. But then he mentioned work, and his true colors showed, Sarah finished. Classic Derek. Remember when he forgot your birthday but remembered his fantasy football draft? We laughed, and I felt the last bits of tension leave my body. The next day at work was interesting. The Peterson meeting was scheduled for Thursday, and the whole office was buzzing about it. I ran into Derek by the copy machine, and he couldn't even look me in the eye. Wednesday afternoon, I got a call from Mr. Peterson himself. Apparently, Derek had told him I was unavailable for the project. That's interesting, Mr. Peterson said, his voice carrying that slight southern drawl. Because when I specifically requested you, I was told you'd be delighted to work with us. Did something change? I took a deep breath. Professionalism, Emma. Mr. Peterson, I'm always happy to work with valued clients. However, I understand there may have been some miscommunication about my availability. I'd be glad to discuss the project directly with you. Long story short, I ended up getting the Peterson account transferred to my team entirely. Derek's boss was not pleased to learn he'd been less than truthful about my availability. By March, Derek had been reassigned to smaller accounts. But here's where it gets really good. Remember that guy I met at Whole Foods? His name is James, and he's a pediatric nurse at Mount Sinai. We'd been casually dating, but after the Derek drama, I decided to give it a real shot. Our first official date was to the Museum of Natural History. He packed a lunch from Zabar's, and we ate it in Central Park afterward. When I told him about my love for scrapbooking, his eyes lit up. My sister is really into that, he said. She made one for our parents' anniversary. It takes real talent and patience. The difference was like night and day. Where Derek saw my thoughtfulness as pressure, James saw it as a gift. Where Derek ran from commitment, James leaned into connection. Final update. It's been almost a year now since that Christmas morning. James and I are still together, and he actually helped me make a scrapbook for Sarah's wedding last month. He spent hours with me at Paper Source, helping me pick out the perfect supplies, never once complaining or checking his phone. Derek? I heard through the office grapevine that he's dating someone from accounting now. I hope he's worked through his issues. I genuinely do. But I'm grateful he showed me who he really was when he did. That scrapbook I made? I kept it. Not because I'm pining for him, but because it represents a time in my life when I loved fully and openly. It reminds me that my capacity for love isn't too much. It just needs to be given to someone who appreciates it. This Christmas, James and I are planning to volunteer at the children's hospital where he works, bringing gifts to kids who have to spend the holidays there. He said my idea to make personalized cards for each child was absolutely perfect. Sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is walking away from someone who doesn't value what you bring to the table. Derek thought my love was too much. James thinks it's just right. And that's the difference between settling and finding your person. Oh, and that Patagonia jacket? I donated it to New York Cares. Someone out there is staying warm because Derek couldn't handle feelings. Seems fitting, doesn't it?